So these are a bit of a weird one in a good way, because most true wireless earbuds are basically chasing the same thing. ANC, loads of features, crazy battery life, multi-point, and then they tune the sound to be safe. Which is fine, but if you're even slightly into audio, a lot of them end up sounding kind of, well, samey. Well, these are a little different. These are the unique Melody UX UEs. This is the brand basically taking the kind of driver tech they're known for in the audiophile world, hybrid setups, and the whole bone conduction adds space and texture idea, and putting it into a compact, true wireless stereo set. And the pitch is simple, sound first with some smart features around it, but not trying to be a big name replacement. So if you're expecting the most feature-packed earbuds on the planet, just know now that's not what these are. But if you want something that's a bit more audiophile in your pocket, that's the angle. Now, as you can imagine, the unboxing experience is quite basic, and you really only get the device, charging cable, and your basic user manual. Now, first impressions, the case and buds feel quite premium. There's this matte skin feel coating they talk about, and it actually does feel nice. Not slippery, not cheap, and it's meant to resist scratches and sweat, so only time will really tell. And a big part of the comfort story is the tips you get with these. They include two different style of tips. Vented tips, which are meant to reduce pressure and heat buildup and let a bit more awareness in. And then you've got non-vented tips, which give you stronger isolation for that more locked-in sound. And that's actually a good thing, because these earbuds kind of rely on that sill more than your average mainstream ANC set. Which brings me to one of the first negatives. So this is important. On the product page and spec sheet, they don't really sell this as an ANC monster. It's more about sound modes like hi-fi, ambient, and assistive listening. My advice to you is I wouldn't go into this expecting Sony level noise cancelling. In real life, isolation is going to be heavily tip dependent, and you will get the best block out the world result with the non-vented tips. For me, these have worked the best. So yeah, if ANC is your #1 priority, this probably isn't the best option for you. Even though these aren't trying to be a full-on ANC performer, for basic day-to-day noise, they still totally work fine. With a good seal, they block out a decent amount of low-level stuff like a fan, office hum, bus ambient noise, that kind of stuff. It's just that they're not getting that world goes silent kind of vibe like Sony or Boss type of cancelling. So I treat it more as a solid passive isolation with a bit of help rather than proper heavy duty ANC. Now, sound quality is beyond the main reason you're probably here. Well, bone conduction is one of those words that gets thrown around and people assume it means you feel your skull vibrating like a toothbrush. That's not really the thing here. The way it's described, the bone conduction unit sends vibrations through the skull, and when it blends with the dynamic driver and BA, it's meant to create a more spacious 360-degree sound field and bring out micro textures and resonance. Now, in normal human language, it can make the sound feel bigger and a bit more out of your head. And you can sometimes notice extra texture in bass notes and instruments. It is subtle, but once you notice it, switching back to a normal single driver TWS can actually feel a bit flatter. The bass is coming from a 10mm carbon nanotube dynamic driver, and they describe it as deep, layered, and controlled. Now, what I'd say on camera is, it's not sloppy bass. It's not that one note boom boom. It's more textured, more controlled, and depending on your tips you use, you can push it more into that immersive low end. Vocals come across pretty natural too. The way the dynamic driver is described, expressive mid-range vocals, actually makes sense. So if you listen to a lot of vocals, acoustic stuff, live recordings, these actually might really suit you. Thankfully, when it comes to sound modes, you've got 3 main modes to choose from. Hi-Fi mode, this is for the proper listening mode, just meaning more clarity. Then you have ambient mode, which just lets outside sound in. And then finally you've got assistive listening, which just boosts quiet sounds and vocal clarity to hear better. Thankfully you can adjust EQ and switch modes in the Smart Sound app. There is one small negative though. The app ecosystem on niche audiophile TWS is really as polished as the big brands. So personally I treat the app as useful but not perfect. Needless to say though, it's not hard to go through the preset sound modes or add your own custom EQ. You do have a lot of flexibility with the sound output here. Now they do advertise aptX lossless and 24-bit 96kHz support. However, I will say just keep expectations realistic. You will need a compatible Android phone so you can take advantage of those higher quality codecs. If you are on iPhone though, you're basically going to be on AAC, because Apple doesn't do aptX. Now when it comes to latency, gaming, video syncing, they claim Bluetooth latency is around 38 milliseconds, and that's one of the best parts of the spec sheet because it should mean good lip sync and less annoying delay in games. If you do watch a lot of YouTube, Netflix or play mobile games, low latency matters more than most people realise. So with these, I like that they've actually gone after it. The latency with these things are really good. Now when it comes to call and mic quality, well, they've got a directional mic array and AI noise reduction. Now obviously every brand says they are crystal clear, so I won't oversell it. But I will say, they're not bad. Take a listen for yourself.
So this is the voice quality from the microphones in these earbuds. I'm actually outside, so you should be able to hear a tiny bit of ambient noise, but the noise reduction is actually doing a decent job at removing that. I mean, it's not perfect, but it's not bad for the asking price.
Now battery is fine, but not class leading. You've got two amplified profiles, class AB, which is smoother, more natural sound, but battery is 5 hours plus 10 with the charging case. Then there's class D, which is more efficient, gives 6 hours and 12 hours with the case. So yeah, either way, these are good enough for the average consumer, but not a battery champion. They very much do rely on that charging case. It does bring it a lot more life. Now all in all, here's the deal. The U-XUE feels like it's made for the person who wants TWS convenience, but doesn't want the sound to feel like a normal consumer earbuds. That hybrid driver setup, dynamic, BA, bone conduction is the whole reason to buy it, because it gives you a more spacious, textured, audiophile-ish presentation that most mainstream stuff doesn't. If you are cool with all the trade-offs I've mentioned, then the Unique Melody UX UEs are a really interesting set of earbuds. In 2026, these are certainly worth considering.